We're live. Okay. I'm going to call to order the December 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Evesham Municipal Utilities Authority. Please read the opening statement.
Both adequate and electronic notice of this meeting pursuant to both the Open Public Meetings Act and Emergency Remote Meeting Protocol Advised and Local Finance Notice 2020-21 has been given by the Office Manager of the Evesham Municipal Utilities Authority on February 6, 2025 in the following manner. Number one, email and written notice to the Burlington County Times and the Courier Post. Number two, posting written notice on the official Evesham EMUA website. And number three, following written notice with the clerks of Evesham and Medford. Written notice was posted at the authority's business address located at 100 Sharp Road, Marlton, New Jersey, 08053 on February 6, 2025. This statement shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting.
Okay. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chris, can we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Wilmot, not present. Mr. Druss, not present. Mr. Kipnis,
Here.
Mr. Sweeney,
Here.
Mr. Schmidt,
Here.
Mr. Tenza.
Here.
Mr. Waters.
Present. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the November 5th, 2025 meeting?
So move. Second.
Does anybody have any questions, comments, additions, or deletions? Hearing none, please call the roll, Chris.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Sweeney,
I'm going to abstain. I wasn't there.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Tenza,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
I'm abstaining as well. I wasn't at that meeting. Public comment for agenda items only. Seeing no one from the public, I'm going to close public comments. Financials, presentation of the FY 2025 financial audit.
Hello, everyone. Caroline Counselor with Bowman and Company. I just want to thank everyone for having my firm back again this year to do the audit. Very much appreciative. And start out by thanking Laura, Jeff, and all the staff here for all the assistance they give us during the audit times that we are out here for a few weeks for field work and providing all of the financial information in order to put together this, almost a 100-page audit report. The majority of that information does come from the staff here. So tonight we have the audit report and also our exit conference report, which is a required communication to those charged with governance that I can go through very quickly and then just give you a couple highlights from the audit report itself. So I believe you have these in PDF, but we brought the printed copies here tonight. So it's the small document, standard requirement under an audit in accordance with government auditing standards, and your audit is also in accordance with GAAP. If we just turn to page 1, our scope of services are to do a financial audit in accordance with those requirements. We did not have any audit findings in this audit report, so it's a clean, unqualified audit opinion. And this references some federal and state single audits. For fiscal year 25, it did not require a federal or state single audit. We're talking about IBAN funding that eventually will generate, because some of those funds come through federal funding. So eventually it'll be a specific audit just on compliance requirements for that program. Significant audit matters. One thing that changed in the audit report is the accounting for compensated absences. The GASB, which is the oversight board, changed the requirements for what has to be booked as a liability for the authority. The number here did not change too much. In FY 24, the ending balance for your compensated absences, which is employees' accumulation of PTO, sick vacation, was about 576,000. At the end of 25, 742,000. So the balance is sort of straight in line with what it is if any employees have a limit to be paid out upon retirement, this GASB does not take into account that limit. Even though your budgetary basis will only pay what they're allowed to pay, but we have to account for it in total. So That was the only major change to the audit report. We didn't have any kind of unusual accounting transactions during the year. Over on page 2, we talk about management judgment and estimates. And I think we touched on this last year. There are some things like cash, that is a strict number. We know what cash is in the bank or in your investment account. But there are certain things like depreciation, the accounting for your pension and OPEB plans, the short-term balance of this compensated absences, and some leases where management has some estimates. And this section just indicates that those estimates are in accordance with all of the rules that are required. Nothing is out of the ordinary for them. Again, we had no difficulties in dealing with anyone during performing the audit. In fact, I said when I came in, this is like one of the best clients, that I have in regard to providing the financial information, reconciling all the items on a monthly basis. So information that you all are getting on a monthly basis is truly what ends up being accumulated for the year in the audit report. On page 3, there were minimal corrected misstatements. So if we find anything, we would provide journal entries to Laura's office as we go through the audit. But and there were no disagreements with management. We have a standard representation letter, which management signs, just indicates that everything that we asked for during the audit was provided to us on a timely basis. And to our knowledge, there were no other independent auditors. Again, all this is standard language in here. Risk of fraud, there's always a risk of fraud. We don't specifically audit for fraud, but we do come in and we talk about, we ask employees, are they aware of anything that might be going on, or is there anything that's been identified during the year? Nothing came to the attention that indicated any kind of fraud or material error in the financial statements. And again, like I said, there were no audit findings in the report. The other matters section is in accordance with GAAP, there are basic financial statements. So we have 3 basic financial statements, and then we have the notes to financial statements. This refers to the supplementary information after, and it just indicates that that supplementary information is supported by everything that's in the basic financial statements. And then we have some key financial highlights, which are also, the charts sort of make it a little bit easier to read, but all this information is within the audit report itself. Net position, we show a 5-year trend of net position, which has been fairly consistently increasing a little bit each year. Part of that, the net position amount is your income overall basis. And it also is broken out into the fixed assets, your capital assets that you have. So for the last few years, there's been increases in the net investment in capital assets because all the items that you've been purchasing have been with authority funds. So if capital assets are purchased with debt funds, the debt reduces. So you might purchase a $2 million or do construction for $2 million, but if it's offset with debt, the net asset number does not change. So this has steadily been increasing, again, because of the cash basis for paying for those capital projects. Total revenues and expenses, again, increases on par. Revenue and expenses have been increasing pretty much a few percent each year. Increase in rates, increase in your connection fees, additional users. I know last year there were quite a few connections made. The connection fee revenue did increase over the prior year. And then, even the $1 or $2 per quarter does build up the revenue amount that you earn. And, your expenses are increasing, salary increases, and health insurance and everything that you're completely aware of. But nothing seems out of the ordinary in any of these numbers. And then we talked to the billings on page 7. We specifically isolated out. Again, you can see the trend where we're in the 17 million to now high 18 millions in total service fees. Connection fees, again, slight dip last year, but around $1 million up to $1.6. I did take a look, and there were some care facilities that had came online, and the connection fees were realized as revenue during fiscal 25. So that was that main increase. And your The bottom of page 7 in regards to the collections versus your service fees, you see in 25 collections were a little bit higher than the actual amount billings. And that is the result of the authority actually collecting some old accounts receivable from the prior year. So accounts receivable balances, which is when people are charged but they don't pay right away. At the beginning of the year, it was about 1.1 million. At the end of the year, 900,000. The extra 200,000 is just collection on prior year receivables. But the collection rate has remained steady and come back from, to the 2020, 2021, when it was closer to 92%. Now we're back up to around 95%, which I think is a great collection rate. And ultimately, the authority collects 100% of the service charges, because if someone doesn't pay, they go to tax sale for the water bill, water sewer bills. And that is the overall. The rest of the pages are just thank you, everybody, again. We appreciate all the time that attention that we're given while we're here. The last page actually is past audit adjustments. You'll see a little chart. There were the main things that are on these things is, again, a couple GASBs that came into effect in the last couple years. The lease receivables, the Sabita is a subscription-based IT agreement. Those GASBs required those items to be booked, but they are not in total material to the financial statements. So because of that, and the relevance of it, they're not booked, but we do have to show them because they're more than a trivial amount. And we just let you know that, these items were there. If the authority enters into additional agreements that create, more of a balance in these accounts, then they may need to be booked on the financials. But, overall, $100,000 is not material to the overall financial statements of the authority. And then basically we we had a couple discussion items. There were a couple things with capital assets and the years that were. Did we hand out the?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a summary of discussion only items. It was a 1-page sheet, and yeah,
So I did send it.
Yeah, we got it. Was sent, we got it.
Okay, basically there were, so when we come out to do the audit, again, we do a risk-based approach to the audit. We analyze all the internal controls over your revenues, cash receipts, your expenditures, purchasing, payroll. Capital assets is one of the things because the balance is so high. Basically, these two items is that we do a sample and we recalculate, because the authority has to depreciate capital assets. The first thing is one item, I think it was in FY 24, and we do a sample, so this could have been this way last year, but it did not come up in our sample until this year. The authority's practice is to depreciate over 7 years. This one was entered with a 10-year depreciation. The net effect for the current year was like a $2,000 difference. So this one is just keep in mind that when new items are purchased and they get set up on the fixed asset listing to ensure the number of years that they're depreciated over is in accordance with what your manual says. The second item is a fixed asset that is fully depreciated, so it has no net effect on the financial statements. But it was a discussion item in prior years, so we always follow up on anything that we found in prior years. There was one out of the two that is, was not removed from the fixed asset listings, and you have the identity of which that means. And the last thing is really just an FYI for fiscal 26 that you're in now. There's a new accounting standard, so GASB doesn't stop. They, I feel like a few years ago, pensions was 68, and that was in 2015. So 10 years later, we're already up to 103. So what they are doing is improving the financial reporting model. Basically, there's certain sections in the management discussion and analysis, which is in the front section of the audit report. So I think they're just making it a little more concise. Certain things can be included and may not need to be included going forward. So we put a lot of information in there about upcoming capital projects and capital projects that, so we may be able to tone that kind of thing down. So we'll have a template, for next year before we start the audit to see what kind of changes are gonna go in regards to this, 103. But that is that one, supposed to make it a little clearer for the financial reporting. But yeah, basically on page 79, 80, 81, 82 are your budget to actual. So we pull the approved budget from, that's been submitted to the state, and these two schedules, one's for water, one's for sewer. They specifically list out every line item. And, if you go through, you can see that there are like a $2 million favorable difference in your revenue side. On the expenditure side, this is just for water. Expenditure side, total operations was a $926,000 favorable difference. So you're keeping within your budget. What you're approving in your budget is what's actually being spent in regards to the water and the sewer operations. That's all I actually have prepared. Does anybody have any questions on the report?
Thank you, Carol. We appreciate you. Anybody have any questions for Carol?
I have like a couple comments and maybe one or two questions.
Sure.
Comment is, first of all, I can't believe like we're already another year going on.
Later, we're getting done a little earlier, so this is 2 times in 2025, but.
I thank you for all this information. It's really amazing. I mean, it kind of goes over my head and I try to absorb as much as I can. I want to thank Laura
Yes.
for what she does for our authority. And when you see our net positions and you see where we are with capital projects, it's just an amazing story to tell. So thank you, Laura, for everything you do for us. I just had a question on the timing, and this could be, maybe it's the statute that we're complying with. Is there any advantage if we went to calendar year reporting or no?
No, I mean, not that I'm really, I mean, we don't have to do half a year of payroll here and then half a year of payroll there. That's one big thing. Also, see, some things change as of January 1, so now you're changing things mid-year. From my perspective, as long as everything's set up correctly, audit-wise, it doesn't make a difference, but doing the daily work, there may be some, I would defer to exactly what your finance office.
I'm so used to a fiscal year, it's all I've ever dealt with in my entire career, because this doesn't phase me. Maybe the other thing that could be easier, if it was a calendar year, is budgeting for insurance.
Right.
Because I have to create that budget in January, and it's for. At the old rates, I know what half of the budget rate is, because I know what the premiums are, but I don't know what the premiums will be
Right.
in the other half of
Yeah.
the fiscal year, so it is, kind of an educated guess sometimes.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about the township. I mean, their budget is calendar year.
Okay.
And, is there any, and I know we appropriate, up to 5% of our budget to that, but. Again, I'm not saying, I feel so strongly about it. I just, if there's advantage for us to do something like that, I would defer to you and Jeff and Jim and everyone to say, yeah, I think that makes sense for us.
I
But
don't know if we're allowed, do we have to do?
I think it probably would be, so I think, and when authorities were created was way before my time, but my guess would be that they created them similar to where the school districts, so that townships and municipals and counties are December year ends, and then another year end for the municipal authorities, just so everything is not happening all at once. I think that, I think that, that was probably the main, because then the town, sort of got themselves running before the authorities started their year. But
I think it's
Yeah.
a challenge
I don't
too.
have the background.
Plus a challenge too with us, we get appointed in January and then we reorganize until February, so
Right.
you could have a situation where the old board is approving a budget, now the new board has to live on it.
yeah, I thought about
Yeah,
that as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there are definitely advantages, to having a
Plus,
fiscal year.
it may actually be in the ordinance that the township
It-
passed
Right.
establishing. it.
Right.
I don't know, I've not seen it, but
Yeah, I, nor have I, so, but I just wanted to bring it to the table. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else? Any other questions?
nice job.
Thank you again,
Nice job.
and thanks
Thank you.
to these guys, especially Laura and others there.
That's
Much
nice job, senior staff on.
Yeah.
On
Definitely time.
We'll get everything filed with the state before the end of the week and, good. You're all set for one more year.
That's great.
For the next one.
Every time I open the audit, I look at the last two pages. Does that- Correct.
Exactly, and if we find anything, we'll work with the staff to make sure we're looking at the thing, at everything correctly. And everybody would know way before we get to this point, if there's anything major going on.
Best 3 words in the audit report, please to report. Amen.
Good.
All right, resolution 2025-115, acknowledging review and acceptance of FY 25 financial audit. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Anyone have any final questions or comments before we vote on? Seeing none, please call the roll, Chris.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Sweeney,
Aye, I'm sorry.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Tenza,
Aye.
Mr. Laura.
Aye. Resolution 2025-116, oh, I'm sorry, before we move on to that.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you guys.
Safe travels and have a great holiday.
Thanks, Carol, appreciate it. All right, we're gonna move up an agenda item. We're gonna go into. What's that? Closed session, executive session. Can I have Carol, it's over. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved. Second.
All right. Who needs and needs not be in the room? Jeff,
Excuse me?
who needs and needs not be in
No,
the
I
room?
don't want to be there.
There's actually a resolution.
Are we,
Right here.
and we're in.
Yep.
Did I go down too far?
2025-120.
I'm sorry, my fault.
That's why we keep them around.
There we go.
That's what a secretary's for.
2-0, executive session for legal matters. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?